Today I'm going to speak to you about sheltered content instruction. Sheltered instruction is an approach whereby teachers of specific content areas, such as math or science or social studies, use specific instructional strategies and techniques to make that content comprehensible to English language learners, while at the same time promoting their language development. In other words, helping them along with the second language acquisition process. When one is using sheltered content instruction, it involves identifying the key language features that one would find in these specific content areas. This may be a range of vocabulary, rhetorical structures, the types of reading passages and the genres of those passages in textbooks, for example, and the language functions that are used among the students and between the teacher and students to communicate in the classroom. The theoretical grounding for the sheltered content instruction approach draws from a range of areas, including the development of literacy skills among second language students and the current push for standards-based reform across schools in the U.S. We also have to keep in mind second language acquisition theory, the use of the native language in instruction for students, and the types of transfer skills that may lead from one language to another. Let me talk for a brief minute about school reform in the U.S. and the demographics and what is facing students who are second language learners. As we know, many of these students have entered U.S. schools and entered the U.S. as immigrants. They may come into school at any particular grade level, and they may range from beginners to advanced students in speaking English. However, we also have students in our programs who have grown up in the U.S. They were born here, but they live in homes where English is not the language spoken among the family members. So they also enter school at kindergarten or first grade needing to learn English as a new language. The educational backgrounds of these students has great import when we are talking about content area instruction. If we have students who have been at school in their native countries, let's talk about the immigrant students right now, and they are up to par grade level, for example, when they come to the U.S., very often all they need to do is learn English and the key vocabulary and the way we utilize English in American classrooms so that they can transfer the academic knowledge they already have and learn to articulate this knowledge and demonstrate their learning through English. However, we have quite a large number of students who are entering U.S. schools nowadays who have had interrupted educational backgrounds. This may be because they've come from countries that are suffering through war or other trauma. It may be because they were geographically isolated and they did not have opportunity to go to school all the time, or for other reasons such as agricultural and seasonal needs for the students not to go to school but to be working out on the farms at home. These students who enter perhaps 1 to 3 or more grade levels behind their age cohort peers are in specific need of specialized instruction in the schools so that they can succeed in the academic content areas. One of the questions that guides most program development nowadays is how best to teach content to the English language learners. Again, because of the reform movements that have been taking place in the U.S. in the past decade, we are seeing a push towards standards-based education. Now, this is certainly valuable for all students, and 49 of the 50 states have standards in one or more of the core content areas. However, what has happened in conjunction with the standards for education, for instruction and pedagogy, has been standards-based assessment. Unfortunately, in many cases, there's high-stakes testing going on that has severe implications for second language learners, especially those who have not already mastered English as a new language, but nonetheless are being forced to take tests that will decide, for example, if they graduate from high school. Because these tests are so important, we want to make sure that our teachers are prepared for working with second language learners in their classrooms in the content areas. English language learners can certainly develop the skills and the knowledge to reach high standards, but they may require different pathways for attaining these standards than native English speakers. What we want to do is help prepare teachers to be successful when working with these students in the classroom so they can attain the high standards, so they can be successful on critical tests that they are facing. One of the particular items that it would be very useful for all teachers to be familiar with are the national ESL standards. These are standards developed by the Teachers of English to Speakers of Other Languages organization, and they are designed for pre-K to 12 students who are learning English as a second language. This particular document is very useful for both language specialists and content area teachers who are concerned with promoting language development among their students in their classes. The document itself is set up in a holistic manner, talking about the functions of language that go across the different areas of the curriculum. What one might think about, for example, are skills like comparing and contrasting, negotiating, persuading, arguing, agreeing. All of these things happen across the classrooms in the U.S., whether it be science or math or ESL, whether it's in a bilingual education program or an ESL program or a mainstream English medium program.